Welcome back to the hell that I have voluntarily submitted myself to. 4.5 hours of gameplay, and we have barely scratched the surface of this turd. So far, I am sitting at 5 of 51 trophies. For those of you that are not math wizards, that is exactly 9.8039%. Sure, I could have just rounded up, but I am nothing if not precise. Another math fact for you. There is a 68.857% chance of me pulling my hair out in frustration during the making of this video. I encountered everything from frustrating puzzles, computer malfunctions, and teleporting enemies. But being the boss that I am, I was able to soldier on with my burden. I'm not only precise, but incredibly stubborn and resistant to emotional and psychological pain, traits that will surely become critical as I delve farther into this game. So let's jump into this bad boy and start part 2 of this Skyrim marathon. I start this carnival act of a video by going to Halted Stream Camp, an out-of-the-way location that may seem like a strange destination, but its importance will become apparent in a few minutes. The outer defenses are weak, just a few guards that I crush beneath my boots.
Mercy!
I don't know the meaning of the word. Once inside the cave, I shish kebab the first guard. Not a problem. The next section proves to be more of a problem, as I am first burnt to a crisp and then pummeled into the ground with a hammer. Looks like it's time to get creative. Me? Adjusting the difficulty? How dare you insinuate such a thing? The hammer guy suddenly poses less of a challenge, and I clear the room. My reason for entering the cave is on the table. The spell tome, Transmute Mineral Ore. What does it do? You'll just have to wait. My next step is to mine all of the iron ore veins that are scattered around the cave. Riveting gameplay. I fast travel back to Whiterun, and this is where things start to get spicy. I make a quick stop at all the shops and buy out the city's entire supply of iron ore. Why would I do such a thing? Iron ore only has a base value of 6, so it isn't very valuable, right? Well, that's where you'd be wrong. Using my spell tome, I learned Transmute Mineral Ore. This spell has the ability to change iron ore to silver ore, and then it turns silver ore into gold ore, which has a much higher value than 6. You might see where this is going. Uh-oh. There's just one teensy tiny problem that I have to deal with. Every time I cast the spell, my blue bar goes below half, which means I have to either drink a potion to restore the blue, or I have to wait several real-world minutes for it to recharge. Or I can cheese the game by waiting 1 game hour, which recharges my blue stuff, which allows me to cast the spell again. I'm pretty sure this isn't what the game developers had in mind when they designed the game, but remember rule number 2, exploits are just part of the game. 12 minutes later, I take my pile of gold ore and smelt it into gold ingots, and then promptly turn those ingots into gold rings with a few taps from a hammer. When I go to sell them, I find out that the worthless pile of iron ore with a base value of 6 has magically transformed into a pile of gold rings with a value of 24 each. I haven't done anything crazy yet, but this is just a warm-up for the real cheese that I'm about to pull. I travel to Riften and punch a lizard lady and promptly get taken to jail. Remember rule number 3 of adventuring. Going to prison is a legitimate strategy. I find myself in a surprisingly cozy jail cell, stripped of all my possessions. But I don't intend on staying long. I just need to break out and begin my shenanigans. Should be simple, but even the best laid plans of mice and men go awry, and I have really screwed up. I have greatly miscalculated the difficulty of my objective, for my lockpicking skills are laughably bad, and I am only allowed 2 lockpicks to get through this part. Forget wizards and dragons. The hardest boss in this game is this stupid lock, and every time my 2 feeble lockpicks break, I am forced to restart from the last quick save. The image of the loading screen is soon seared into my brain as I am forced to restart again and again. I am ashamed to admit it, but my progress was stopped for 13 minutes before finally managing to get through this door. Oh, thank God. But little did I know, that would be the easy part. I now need to sneak past the guard and grab my possessions. Simple, right? Well, it would be, if the chest wasn't fucking locked! With my ass cheeks clenched so tightly I could shit diamonds, I tried to get into the chest, teasing the controls with the faintest of touches as if the analog sticks were made of glass. I tried to find the exact pixel that will grant me access. But there is another problem that looms over my shoulder. There is not one guard, but two, and they are absolutely god tier. Even on the few attempts that I do manage to get into the chest, they are waiting to blast crispy bacon into the shadow realm. Forget shitting diamonds, I'm about to give birth to a neutron star. Because of my haste, I have overridden the last save file, which means if I try to go back, I will lose at least an hour of work. I'm in a living hell. So I do the only logical thing. I butt my head against the wall, trying the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result. After 30 minutes of futility, I throw up a Hail Mary pass and turn into a werewolf. My enhanced power allows me to kill the guards with just a shred of health. Ugh! Finally. After collecting my possessions, I head over to the far cell and begin to move gold coins in and out of this guy's pockets. For some reason, he doesn't seem to notice, and I glitch my way to level 100 pickpocketing in just a few minutes. I get the Skill Master trophy, and my work here is done. I head out the door, and the Wanted trophy is my reward for escaping jail. On an impulse, I buy a horse. His name is Applesauce. He is my best friend, and I love him more than the whole world. For a moment, I forget about my problems and get the faintest glimmer of hope in my heart before it is broken. The next video file was corrupted, and I lost over 2 hours of footage. A cruel twist of fate that shook my very soul. It seemed that higher powers were now trying to stop me. I must admit that I thought about quitting at this point, but a quick cry and a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream and I was back at it. Let's just pretend that nothing exciting happened in those 2 hours of lost footage and move on, because we are now at the absolute worst part of this challenge, the Thieves Guild. In order to conquer this portion of the game, I was forced to grind through no less than 40 side missions that required me to travel all over Skyrim, stealing doodads and trinkets. The missions had subtle differences to them, but the variety was as subtle as the differences between eggshell and snow white paint swatches. Virtually identical. The missions were miserable. It was a pain that no amount of alcohol could smother. After 3.5 hours of agonizing gameplay, all I got was a trophy. But was the torment worth it? Not a chance. I soothed the pain with some light yard work and cooking lessons in order to get the hard-working trophy. A pair of tasks that I could have just as easily done in real life. But real life doesn't award trophies for mundane tasks. I enchant a random item for the Artificer trophy, and I start to feel pretty good about myself.
Another wanderer, here to lick my father's boots. Good job.
That was so mean. Why is he so mean? Everyone's so mean. After a quick phone call with my mom to confirm that yes, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, I earn the Citizen trophy after buying a house, and then watch as a man eats invisible food. I eagerly run to my newly purchased house to discover that it's a complete dump and that I have been horribly swindled. With that disappointment out of the way, I jump into the menu to check on my progress, and I'm hit with the 3 most terrifying letters in the alphabet. It turns out that being a 10-year-old game, Skyrim has a bunch of DLC that was included with the purchase. Yay! This throws a major monkey wrench into my plans. I had not counted on this extra level of difficulty. Do I go ahead and do the DLC trophies as well? Or do I choose to leave them unfinished? After much deliberation, I decide to ignore the DLC content and pretend that it never existed at all. My original promise was to platinum the game with 51 trophies, and so I will stick to that promise and metaphorically throw the DLC content into the garbage. For those of you that think that I'm a horrible no-good quitter for making this choice, and that I'm also a big dummy for incorrectly using metaphorically in a sentence, well, you can keep those opinions to yourself. While visiting McCarth, I stumble upon a dude that wants to investigate a house Scooby-Doo style. I follow him inside, which turns out to be a terrible idea. Turns out there is a dark spirit in the building, and we now have to fight each other to the death. I quickly kill the other guy to save my own skin, which is unlike any episode of Scooby-Doo that I have ever seen. The spirit is pleased, and commands that I bring a priest to the altar. My reward for this act? A rusted piece of junk. I mount my trusty steed Applesauce, and we make our way to the priest. A dragon interrupts our journey, and I smack it in the chops. Run like the wind, Applesauce. I have lost a friend. Though we had only been together for a short time, the bond between Applesauce and me had been deep. There is now a hole in my heart that cannot be filled. I don't know if I can go on, but I must. It's what Applesauce would have wanted. Damn it. A horse would be really nice right now. Fuck you, Applesauce. At Deepwood Redoubt, I slay all that stand before me. Blinded by rage over the loss of my horse, I leave nothing but death and destruction in my wake. I don't know who these people are, but I'm sure they had it coming. I free the priest, who turns out to be a pompous asshole, and follow him back to the altar at McCarth. He falls into a trap, and I do unspeakable things to him. Worth it. Though I have already dumped 3.5 hours into the Thieves Guild, I have only completed one tier of the area's trophies. There is a second list of quests that need to be completed. In an unsuspected twist, Mercer turns out to be the true villain. He has betrayed the Thieves Guild, a fact that is confirmed after the characters try to unlock an open door.
Use your key on the vault, Delvin. We'll open it up and find out the truth.
And then see that Mercer has stolen everything of value. I have to go next door and get into Mercer's house to find out what he is planning. And I have to do it alone because, you know, no one else could be bothered to do this pressing quest at this time. I shoot down an overly elaborate drawbridge, find a hidden entrance, and snag a map that is conveniently left lying around. I turn to leave, but not before grabbing the dopest sword ever. I hand over the plans to this guy. Turns out Mercer is going to steal something or another. I might have paid better attention if people hadn't kept interrupting us. We are trying to have a conversation here. The only way to stop the bad guy is to become a nightingale. The name might be silly, but holy shit, the armor is dope. We complete the initiation with a ceremony that summons a big blue orb. I don my backpack and we head out. We head into another dungeon. Yes, shocking, I know. But this is a new challenge, with enemies such as transformers, mechanical spiders, and vampires. I have 2 companions to aid me, but they do absolutely nothing. I kill some ghouls, pull a few levers, and get obliterated by a gold Pokeball. Eventually I reach a stealth portion of the dungeon, and it was pretty easy, until suddenly it wasn't. We catch the dude red-handed, and he challenges me to single combat while my friends have a dance-off in the corner. The battle is tough, but I stab that filthy traitor, and the water rises for some inexplicable reason. And we pop out of the dungeon's conveniently located back door, no worse for wear. There's one last piece to this puzzle. The magical key must be returned to its resting place. My friends can't do it for some reason or another, so it's up to me. A quick carriage ride later, and I meet Casper the Ghost, who wishes me good luck. I hack and slash my way past a couple of spirits to move deeper into the dungeon. A few eagle-eyed viewers might question how I can physically stab a ghost. My answer is, how about you stop asking questions? I die twice in a puzzle room, where the light kills me. Again, stop asking questions. I get spit roasted by a gaggle of ghosts who spawn behind me, and then fall into a well. The well turns out to be a big trick, and I jam that key into the floor. a very nice bird lady pops out of a pool of purple jelly, and I stand on a button to get the Darkness Returns trophy. I head back to the Thieves Guild to talk to What's-His-Face, and we keep getting interrupted. Can you people not see we're trying to have a moment? Whatever. I earn a new set of armor, and the one with the Shadows trophy is now mine. Let's take stock of our progress. At this point in the series, there has been a total of 15 hours of gameplay, 2 hours of lost footage, 19 trophies, and 1 dead horse. But the most important fact is that the Thieves Guild is complete. The worst grinding section of the game is behind me, and I'm sure it'll be smooth sailing from here on out.